So you want to start a gym? I have the exact resource that you need to do it and avoid all of the issues that can make your life miserable. And you can download the free tools that I'm going to talk about here from startagym.com, and the book is available on Amazon or from the link below. So the first choice that you have to make when you're about to start a gym is, do you want to leverage your money or do you want to leverage your time? Do you want to buy an existing gym or do you want to start something from scratch? And there are a few considerations that you want to take into account when you're making this decision. First off, does the existing gym have a solid audience? Do you have people already engaged in that gym? Is that gym profitable, or will you be buying some bad practices from somebody else that you're going to have to later on fix? On the other hand, there are pros and cons to starting a gym from scratch. So the first pro is that you're starting from a blank slate and you don't have to correct previous mistakes. But the con is that you have to also build an audience from scratch. So in this book, I'm going to tell you exactly how to do it, whether you're buying an existing gym or starting from a blank slate in a brand new facility with brand new equipment and no clients. The second choice that you have to make is, do you want to go this alone or do you want to have a partnership? Now, I've got a sample partnership agreement for you at startagym.com if you want to just download that. But a lot of us would choose, in hindsight, to have done this ourselves. Maybe we took a partner because we wanted the money, or maybe we just wanted the security of saying, we're in this together and I've got your back. Whatever the reason, there are pros and cons to taking a partnership or going it alone. I'm a lone wolf. I like to do stuff on my own, but when I started my first gym, I had a partnership, and I wouldn't do it again. But there are good examples out there of partnerships that work, and the things that make them work, we cover in this book. The third choice that you have to make when you're starting a gym is your method. Now, this seems to be the easiest choice for most fitness trainers because we are all in on CrossFit, or we're all in on Spartan Race, or we're all in on yoga, or we're all in on Pilates, or whatever. The method often is the thing that inspires us to open a gym in the first place. We want to bring the power of that method, the life-changing benefits, to other people in our local community. That's really admirable, and it's one of the things that I love about working with gym owners the most, is that we're so passionate about serving other people that the method pushes us to take these big financial risks. So choosing your method is not the hard part. The reason that I put this section in the book is that I need you to understand that the method is not the business model. Simply being better at delivering yoga, Pilates, spin, or CrossFit is not what's going to make you successful in the long term. Those things are required but insufficient. So in this book, I'm going to talk about exactly what the difference is. The fourth choice that you have to make, and this is a huge financial choice, is your location. And I've got some tips and tricks in here on how to choose the perfect location, what to avoid, when to choose small and build up, and when to choose big and just go for it. And also some great tips from gymlawyers.com on how to negotiate your lease. Little tiny tweaks to your lease and your negotiation at startup can have massive compounding effect down the road. They can either get you started on the right foot with a little bit of headwind, or they can really paralyze you and set you back 2 to 3 years. They can really make or break, and all of that is in this book. You can even download a sample lease template from startagym.com and look at what should be in there. The next choice that you have to make is the equipment that you buy. What equipment will you use? Now, most of us 20 years ago started a gym with minimal equipment and we built stuff ourselves to save money. And that's really important because if you take on a massive loan in the beginning, you're going to be fighting a bit of an uphill battle until you get enough clients to cover that loan. And that can even put you in a bad spot because you'll feel pressured to get clients if you're losing money because of big space requirements or big equipment loans right off the start. Instead, you want to remove that pressure as much as possible. But some equipment obviously is necessary. So what do you need? And there's a guide and a checklist right in this book, and you can download a checklist from startagym.com too. The next choice that you need to make when you're setting up a gym is, what services will you offer? Gym owners tend to either offer only one thing, personal training, which is what I offered when I opened my first gym, or they tend to offer way too many things. So they've got 12 different options for people. When you're opening your gym, you need to prioritize your time and you need to prioritize services that will bring you high value so that you have time to do all that other stuff that's involved in getting your gym going. And so choosing your services out of the gate is really important. And one key here is that the services that you open with don't have to be the only services that you ever sell. So if you're thinking, oh, I want to have a kids class someday, you don't have to have that on day one. And working with a mentor or reading the book will definitely help you decide which services to offer at startup and which services to offer later. The next choice you need to make when you're starting a gym is your prices. Now, this is the choice that really breaks gyms long term. In fact, if some gyms made this choice differently at startup, they would have survived past the expiry of their first lease or the 3-year mark or the 5-year mark when they eventually went out of business. If you set your prices wrong at startup, that will haunt you for years. Every mistake that you make at startup will take you at least 6 months to fix, but pricing is the biggest one because the prices that you set at startup will frame the prices that you charge for up to a decade. And it will be painful, it will be hard, it will be awkward. You might feel like you have to break promises to people if you make this mistake in the beginning. And so in this book, I wanted to dive deep into how to set your prices at startup, how to make sure that you're setting people up for maximum value, and how to make sure you're delivering on that promise to people. So setting your prices is a key section in Start a Gym. The next choice that you have to make is setting up your payment and scheduling system. And luckily, this is a much easier choice than setting your prices. So setting up your payment, I give you some tips there. I give you some feedback on what systems people have used. But basically what you want to do is set up a payment or a pricing binder so that you're not just pulling prices out of your head. People don't feel like you're making them up. You're charging consistent prices and you're not discounting. You also want to set up scheduling automations so that you're not just running your entire business out of like a daily planner like I did for the first few years. You want to automate the parts of your business that don't require your hands-on attention, like booking personal training appointments, booking no sweat intros, and this book will tell you how to do it. Choice number 9 is one that not every gym owner understands when they open up, and that is setting up your media platform. You want to set up your media intentionally, and you need to start by understanding that every company is a media company. When you open a business, you step on stage, and you have to be producing media consistently, but also with purpose. If you're just making a lot of posts on Facebook, Instagram, you're making YouTube videos, that's awesome, but you need to know where those videos lead. For example, I want you, after watching this video, to go to startagym.com and download the free resources. And from there, we can decide if the next step is right for you. With your clients, you want to create media that informs, that inspires, and also encourages the right people to take the next step, booking a no sweat intro with you. So you need to set that media platform up, and this is work that you can do while you're waiting for the build out to happen or for your gym to open. The next choice is to get your first clients before you open. Now, since about 2017, I've been teaching a strategy called the Founders Club. And this strategy is not about discounting, but this strategy has resulted in a lot of gyms getting dozens of clients signed up with their payment information ready to go before opening day. And it's really important to understand that opening up with credit card numbers in hand, with ACH transactions or void checks ready on day one, really makes a difference between scrambling for years, struggling, making choices that can get you cash in the short term but will hurt you in the long term. It really sets you up for entrepreneurial success, and it shaves years off the process. So in this book, I share the Founders Club strategy with you, and if you go to startagym.com, you'll find more documents that will actually help you open your gym with clients paying on day one. Now, I've included a couple of bonuses in this book too. So the first is the pre-launch checklist. If you don't even read the book and you skip toward the back, you'll get this checklist of things that you have to cover before you open up. That was really stressful for me when I opened up my first gym, second gym, third gym. I was really stressed that I was going to forget something. And so I've put a checklist in here for you so that you know that you're covering all the bases, that you don't forget something critical, and also so that you do some stuff that you might not have thought about. You capitalize on some opportunities. I also included a bonus section on scaling up. So what to do after you open. You've got the doors open, you're making some money. Now what? The steps that you take after you're open are different than the steps that you take before you open, and you need to have systems in place that will help you scale up. I think having a mentor is the best underlying strategy to all of this, but this book was written to take you from the dream of owning a gym to the reality of having a gym open and actually changing lives. So if you go to startagym.com, you can download the free resources from this book. You can see a little video from me. You can get the book, get open successfully, change more lives sooner, be successful, do this for 30 years. Thank you for taking this step in the entrepreneurial journey, and thank you for changing the health and fitness of our world.